What's up guys, Duarte here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are coming back once again to talk about Kate Bishop, this time on the context of raids. Is she going to be any good in terms of raids? Maybe I was wrong. Is there a possibility? Of course, there is always a possibility. So we are going to take a look at different footage of different people on different difficulties and see if she has any use or not. From my first impressions from theory crafting on her kit, I had the sensation that the kit was not good enough to help on the tech lane on the Doom raids, because the cooldown on the ultimate was too long, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see about that. Like I said, I'm not going to use my own footage because I don't have Kate Bishop, because I think that if we are buying offers, when we are complaining about the bad events, how bad the echo event is, if we are buying the offers, then we are doing nothing about the problem. We are complaining, but we are still following along with the herd. And like this, why would the developers listen to us? But this is my idea, it's the way I see things. I think that if we are criticizing, we cannot support it, and that's why my boycott keeps going. And you do you, other content creators do whatever they want, but you cannot complain about something and then vote with your money, vote with your wallet to have more of that. This is why I'm boycotting, and this is why I say everyone that you should boycott if you don't agree with the events and with what the game developers are doing. Okay, so we are going to take a look at Kate Bishop in action. We are going to take a look at full detail to make sure that we are not being misled by anything at all. And we are also going to take a look at RNG factors that can influence the matches. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started and take a look at this footage. As you can see, Kate Bishop, she's at gear tier 15 with all the T4s and ISO 8 level 3. And she's at 3 yellow, 3 red stars, which is a decent level. I used Star-Lord T'Challa on the Doom raid, second Doom raid on difficulty 3, and he did okay. But pay attention at this footage. We are actually taking a look at Doom 2.0. 2.0. The difficulty in terms of the content, it's quite different, because we have 40% more HP, 75% more damage, so there is a huge difference between the two difficulties. But let's take a look and pay attention and see if she's going to be good or not, if she's going to perform well enough for us to consider. Once again, this is difficulty 0 and not difficulty 3, so take into consideration that if you want to use her, maybe you need a lot more yellow stars and red stars. Okay, so we are going to use the typical team. We have Kate Bishop, we have Shuri, we have Kestrel, Dr. Octopus and Dr. Doom. This is a fine team for this specific node. Now, from my theory crafting that I did when the kit was firstly announced, I always thought that Kate Bishop Ultimate would not be ready for you to use on the first turns, and because of that it would not be useful enough. Was I right about that or not? We'll see. Okay, so did you notice exactly what happened? The player in question used the Shuri special, and he had the luck that it gave energy to Kate Bishop. That, of course, is going to completely change everything. Now this is 100% inconsistent. You have 3 other characters that could get that energy as well, so reproducing these will be 20% chance in most cases, so it's not something that would happen in a consistent way. So let's continue. We have the defense up from Shuri, so that means that we'll get 50% less damage. We got the ability block on Kestrel, which is also a 20% chance of happening, and it's usually the best case scenario. Now we have a bunch of buffs on Kate Bishop. Because she has offense up, she doesn't really need the skirmish ISO weight, but if you feel like she's too low for the content you are doing, then the skirmisher ISO weight is going to help a little bit. With her special, which is a 3 energy cooldown, she can clear positive effects from the enemies, and she cleared the taunt from Drax, which is quite useful. The player in action uses the special from Dr. Doom, and he blow up most of the enemies. Once again, this is on Doom 2.0. On 2.3 the enemies have 40 or more % more health, armor resistance, and so on. Okay, so far so good. It was not required for us to use the ultimate from Doom to clear the first wave away, and now we are in a good position to use the ultimate from Kate Bishop to apply blind to one of the big enemies that we are facing. We are facing Bishop, we are facing Cloak, and we are facing Silver Surfer, plus Colin Wing. All of these characters require some kind of blind to stop their abilities, especially Cloak. Kate Bishop, she can also apply offense down to the enemies, and that's gonna be useful because with the deflects from Shuri and also the defense up, that can help a little bit. So let's continue and see the footage. So Shocker, remove the taunt from Bishop. So we need to make sure that Shocker stays alive, and now the player in question is targeting Silver Surfer, and he is going to do the ultimate, which will apply blind and offense down. Now, in my opinion, I would prefer to use this on Cloak because the negative effects from Cloak are a lot more deadly, and Silver Surfer would still have offense down and reduce his damage by 50% on top of the defense up and the flex that we have. So that's something that we need to have into consideration. Now, let's circle back to what happened early in the match. We got the energy from Shuri, which is a low chance of happening. So, in most cases, in 50% to 80% of the cases, you will not have this energy on Kate Bishop. So this is something that this ability will not be available at this point in time in most case scenarios. So pay attention to this, because if you are looking at this and you see this ability being available right now, in most cases this ability is not going to be available, and you'll get the ultimate from Cloak, from Colin Wing and from Silver Surfer in your face without you being able to do anything about it. So let's continue. Once again, this is kinda misleading. I'm not saying that this guy did on purpose. I'm just saying that it's misleading or misrepresentative of the kit of Kate Bishop, because we got that early energy that it's something not very common from happening. Okay, so he applies defense down to the different characters. Now he has blind on Silver Surfer, so the special completely missed. Once again, because this is on Doom 2.0, Kestrel, which is at 6 yellow, 6 red, I think, is completely destroying the enemies. Dr. Doom is doing exactly the same, and the player in question is able to clear all these enemies in a timely manner. Also pay attention that some characters, they have a defense down and slow, others have offense down and slow, others have offense down and defense down. And that's another problem with the Kate Bishop ultimate, is that the negative effects that you are applying to the enemies are RNG. So you cannot firmly decide or firmly expect anything out of her ultimate. Okay, so here we have the guy destroys everyone, but I hope you have consideration everything that I said, all the nuances that we took a look at. So now you're going to take a look at the second node, and once again this is on Doom 2.0. so let's continue. Okay, let's keep the loading screen. Okay, so let's go a little bit back. Okay, so we have Kestrel once again doing big damage because it's 2.0. She one-shots Doctor Strange, then Captain Sam does his ultimate and barely does any damage because it's on 2.0. Then Gamora comes around and Black Panther, and once again this is on Doom 2.0, so the enemies are barely doing any damage to maxed out characters. Shuri died, and that's the beginning of the end, maybe not. So Kate Bishop with her evase is actually able to survive quite a lot. Now the player used the ultimate, and the ultimate actually comes around quite often because of the speed up that Dr. Octopus gives to Kate Bishop. This is a problem with this character because she's quite slow at 113. It's not slow, but it's not the fastest either, and the speed ups and the flex from Dr. Octopus greatly increase the survivability of Kate Bishop. Once again, pay attention to the negative effects that the ultimate gave to her. We have offense down and we have slow, but on Gamora we have disrupt and slow. So like I said, it's extremely inconsistent, and you cannot make a good strategy based on this because it's not consistent. You never know what you are going to get. Plus the blind was resisted, so that's terrible as well. Okay, so now the player does the wee woo against different characters. He still doesn't use the ultimate with Doctor Doom, which is interesting to say the least. Once again, this is on difficulty 0 of the Doom raid, of the second Doom raid, and then the enemies do the damage and whatever. So he's going to be able to finish off the node, which is pretty fine. I still think that not having a consistent source of negative effects, the fact that you never know what to expect, is a little bit problematic. So let's stop this and let's take a look at other footage now on difficulty 3. Okay, so now let's take a look at Kate Bishop in action on difficulty 3. This is footage from Philosopher, from his live stream, and let's pay attention to the details and see how exactly she does on difficulty 3. This is going to be on the same node that we saw previously, and this time we will not get that lucky energy that we first saw, which will completely change the outcome of the match. Okay, so let's get started. So the energy goes for Dr. Octopus and Dr. Doom. That's not 100% terrible, because that means we'll have the ultimate from Dr. Doom available turn 1. Okay, so let's see how it goes. We have the defense up, big damage from Silver Surfer. Now we have the special from Kestrel, and this Kestrel is even bigger than one we saw before. Here Kate Bishop gets attacked. Now we have the ultimate from Dr. Octopus. We are doing big damage, but not as much as we saw on the previous video. And as you can see, the ability is not available on her first turn, and she needs to charge herself up. Okay, so Philosopher is going to be forced to use the special to charge Kate Bishop. and now we have the second wave. So now we have problems, big problems. We don't have Shocker on the field. We have to use the Doom bots or Dr. Doom to remove the taunt from Bishop, and we have two Bishops at the same time. So as you can see, this is going completely different from what we had before. Now we have the basic from Kate Bishop because we didn't got that additional energy. If we had that additional energy, that will be extremely helpful, but because it's not the case, because it's luck based, Kate Bishop is not a consistent character to be used on the tech lanes, which is unfortunate because her kit has some potential, but the fact that the developers made her one energy short, that made her completely useless for the raids. So as you can see, Philosopher had to use the basic there because he had no other option. It's not his fault. And in terms of the damage output of the team, he's still fine. He has good characters. Here, because we were not able to apply the blind or the offense down to Silver Surfer, he did tons and tons of damage, and now Bishop is going to almost destroy the entire team. Philosopher summons the Shocker, but without offense down and without any kind of blinds, Colin Wing completely destroys the team. If we had offense down on the characters from Kate Bishop, maybe we would be able to survive this attack from Colin Wing, but once again, like I mentioned before, the negative effects that Kate Bishop applies to the enemies are not consistent at all. It can be disrupt and slow, which brings no benefits to us, or it can be offense down and defense down, which will be extremely useful to us. So let's see, is there any point on continuing? I don't think there is. I think with all this information we can make already our conclusions about Kate Bishop in raids. Okay, so it's conclusion time. Is Kate Bishop going to be any good for raids or not? From what you just saw and from the comments I did throughout the videos that we watched, Kate Bishop is not consistent enough with her ultimate to be useful on the tech lanes. It might happen that one day you get the energy from Shuri, you are able to apply offense down to each of the enemies, but then on the next day you'll not get the energy from Shuri and you'll apply disrupt and slow to most of the characters, which is still useful but not as useful as offense down and defense down, which increase your survivability and your damage output. Based on all these, I definitely have to not recommend Kate Bishop for raids. She is as bad as I expected, and only if you are very lucky and all the planets align for you, you will be able to get some good performance out of her. So I didn't recommend her for Alliance Wars defense because I think she and her team are not good enough to be relevant. If you have a defensive team, they have to defend. This is why I like Heroes for Hire. They are annoying to deal with, but at least they do their job. It's not the case for the Young Avengers. They don't do that much of a good job, or at least they have so many counters already that their relevance will be very, very low. And in terms of Kate Bishop for raids, it's the same thing. She's not able to provide a consistent job for me to be able to recommend her for the Doom raids. So I definitely don't recommend investing on Kate Bishop, but you do you. Take my advice if you want. If you don't, that's fine too. It's your game, play the way you like it. I'm just giving you advice that I think it's important if you want to get the most out your gaming experience. So yeah guys, that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Kate Bishop for raids, unfortunately she's quite disappointing. If she had just one less energy on the cooldown, she would be actually very, very interesting. at least to a degree, because the ultimate is still inconsistent, not just in terms of the energy but also in terms of the negative effects. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this information. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the information helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.